Hi, YouTube fam. I am Angeline, the nursing assistant. Happy Friday, you guys. We made it again to another week, and hey, we gonna have a good time this weekend. But first, let's get into this here supervisor versus boss back and forth thing. I have been hearing a lot of supervisors, a lot of head CNA now saying or thinking they're bosses. So I want to kind of distinguish the difference between a supervisor and a boss, because a supervisor and a boss are not the same. So let's get all that cleared up and let's get into this informative Friday. Supervisor is not a boss. No. So we're going to get into it and kind of figure out what is a boss and what is a supervisor. Right now, I will put a dictionary version or definition of what a supervisor is, but I'm finna tell you guys what I feel like a supervisor is, and we can kind of compare the two and see is my thinking is correct. So, number one, let's get into what a supervisor, who a supervisor supervise. Number one, everybody know a supervisor supervise. Plain and simple. So usually a supervisor supervise a group, a certain team, or a certain department. And what I mean about that, let's go into the easy way. Let's try retail. Okay, in retail, you got your different department. You got your shoe department, you got your cosmetic department, you got your pharmacist department, you got your kids department, you got your houseware department. Usually a supervisor will supervise in one of those departments. She will not supervise over the whole retail store. So you will have a supervisor over cosmetic, a supervisor over the shoe department, a shoe department over houseware. So the first thing, a supervisor usually have a certain group, team, or department that they supervise. Okay, you guys, let's get into some of the responsibility of a supervisor. A supervisor usually manage the workflow. They train new hire, and they also create and manage the team schedule, report to HR and their upper senior management. They evaluate their team and provide feedback to their upper management. A supervisor also have to be somewhat of a referee. They have to help resolve their co-worker issues and their dispute. This also come in the line of being a supervisor. Also, a supervisor must know how to keep their personal feelings at bay when it comes down to supervising. And what I mean about that, if you don't care for a certain person or you have an issue with a certain person, you can't let that issue or your personal feeling about that person interfere with good supervising, because a supervisor has to be fair. You will have to know how to manage your personal feeling so you can supervise fairly and right. Because that I find in a nursing assistant field, that is a major issue with supervisors. They don't know how to keep their personal feelings or their personal life out of the workplace. And what I mean about that, everybody is not going to like everybody. So in saying that, if I don't care for a person, that shouldn't have anything to do with how you supervise me. So a supervisor have to be very careful of their personal feelings when it comes down to their job, because I have found out in this industry, and it could be others, I can only speak where I have worked. So a lot of people take stuff I say personally, but I can only speak from my experience. So in my experience, this is a very big issue when it comes down to supervising in my field, the healthcare field. A good supervisor knows how to set aside her personal feelings and supervise how it's supposed to be. So this is the job of a supervisor. I only hit on the basic. I think I only hit on the most important thing, the description of a supervisor. So now we're going to get into the boss role. And what is the role of a boss? So let's get into it. You see, you guys, you can see it better than I can tell you. A boss is the chief executive officer. That is a boss. He is over every department, every team, and every person. So ask yourself, supervisors, are you over every team, every department, every person? If not, you're not a boss. You're just a supervisor.